I love when I see a company that's willing to consider how do we integrate these things into our organization. I am not a person who thinks you need to have, for instance, a DEI person per
Yeah.
se. I think you need to have DEI as a process and as
Yeah.
an accountability with your actual organization, you know? I think it's something where it has to be part of your culture. In the same way, I think it's a little bit silly to say, this is the person who's responsible for our organization culture and such. Like, everybody should be doing those things.
I
That's
agree.
the things that should exist throughout, you know? But to not say everybody and actually mean nobody, you have to mean you have accountability built in. You have to have objectives and targets, or you have to have these guideposts. And when you realize if you go in this direction, that's not the right way, and you're going to course correct in some ways, there has to be, and if you're doing well, you want to make certain to have some built-in rewards or incentives and such.
Yes.
I think that's how that is. If you want to make a business where you're trying to do better by all the people that you're reaching and impacting and touching, if you want to make sure that you're doing better by more people, and you want to make sure that you're consistent about that, then you have to have it integrated. It's not something that you can have one person in their little island being able to say, by the way, you should do better. That's usually not going to do anything at all.
No, it's not going to do it. And then usually it's a HR person who is definitely not the person that should be doing this. So most of the
HR
time.
needs to be in this as well.
Yeah,
they definitely have a role. Like, that's definitely a thing. But if you're talking about things like, diversity, and your talent acquisition is not a part of it, that's weird.
Exactly.
If you're talking about things like diversity and your marketing and your salespeople are not a part of it, that's kind of weird.
Absolutely.
If you're talking about things like inclusion and, your team leads don't have any idea how to be able to welcome different kinds of people in your organization, if you don't know how to have an inclusive interview to make certain that you're not accidentally screening out people just because they might be neurodiverse or have different kinds of realities, then, it's not going to fly. It's just not, So you have to make certain that everybody has some idea of, how can you work with that person next to you? How can you work with the people in your team, in your company, in your community, in your world, and the folks that you're trying to, the areas that you're trying to reach and impact? Understand those people. Make sure you're doing right by them, not just what you think you want, not just pushing something onto folks and doing it your way exclusively. Thinking about how you could do that with these people.
Yeah.
That's the way you have to kind of change the mentality within the working space. But I'm biased completely.
No, but I 100% agree with you. And